I don't really like the sun signs as much as I like the moon signs.
All the other stuff.
Yeah, like the moon sign, the rising.
Wait, what's
like
the moon
the card?
What's the difference between
the life path? Well, so sun is basically who you are. It's like your soul. It's like unchanging. It's like that the part of you that carrying you through life, right? Like it's going to be a very significant part of you. But it's not necessarily dealing with the inner workings of the mind, the emotions. It's not dealing with once somebody gets to know you, that like those layers of the onion that like start unfolding and like that carapace that's really just that the sun sign helps develop. The moon sign kind of opens up and shows its true self to that other person or like the people that really get to know you. The moon sign is almost like the inner workings of the mind and the emotional state because the moon rules the emotions. It's like said, it's in simple terms, it's like the sun is like the father, like what your dad gives you, and then the moon is what your mom gives you.
But but the signs are like the same? It's just the sun and the moon?
It's based on every 2 hours.
But what like the Aquarius stuff that's different than like that's the sun? Or like I don't know.
Yeah, like if you're an Aquarius, you're an Aquarius, that's your sun sign. Yeah, that's it.
So the moon sign's different.
Moon sign's different. You got to go like do like a moon sign calculator.
Oh shit!
And you like look it up like online.
Look it up real quick. I want to see.
You got to know what time you were born.
It was like 11:30 p.m.
Yeah, find out exactly what time you were born, and then just type Google moon sign calculator, and then you gotta triangulate. So you gotta do your exact face to the world.
Well, that became really popular over the last couple of years, no?
Well, like the different signs,
like bringing all that, like
no, because
I remember like the last 2 years, everything just started exploding. Maybe I just started seeing it.
Yeah, like your friendships and stuff. Yeah, but like if you're like in a relationship, it's your moon sign that needs to be compatible. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like a lot of people, because humans are complex, right? Like, we're not just I'm a Leo. Like, so every Leo ever is exactly like you. Nah, bro. Yeah, like, there's so many different.
That's what I don't.
Different types of different. Yeah, that's true.
That's when I started like.
Part of me doesn't believe in any of that. Part of me does.
Oh yeah, there's an element of like, dude.
Like I could just take this.
You could apply this to someone else.
You could just change the sign, like you could do a test of like the same thing you're saying.
You can copy and paste someone else. You could be like, bah, 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 bah.
And then people would be like, oh, that's true about me.
That's so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is when you integrate your sun sign, your rising, your moon, like your Mercury, like what your Mercury sign is, what your Venus sign is, what your Mars sign is.
What are all those?
Yeah. So basically you do like a natal chart. You do a full natal chart. It starts to paint a more accurate picture. It's like, oh, you may have these qualities, but you don't have these. And you may have these, but you don't have these.
And it starts narrowing down.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, now you start painting a little bit more of an individual picture. Then on top of that, you throw a life path in there.
What's a life path?
So like basically it's numerology. So it's basically the month, day, and year you were born reduced down to one singular number. So like you were to add, one.
Is that like Gematria and all that?
Yeah, like 1 + 8 is 9, right?
Yeah.
And then and then you just keep going, right? And then so all the way, you reduce it all the way down to one number. 11 doesn't get reduced further. 22 doesn't get reduced further. 22 is like the master builder, and 11 is like a master, like spiritual initiate type of card, or sorry, number. But like so a sun in Leo, moon in Scorpio, like me, Libra rising with an 8 life path. That is, and then you look at the cards, right?
Yeah.
That's a whole other freaking like And so like you have a whole other rabbit hole of like the cards, like 52 cards in a deck, 52 weeks in a year, 4 suits, 4 seasons, 13 lunar cycles, 13 faces of nobility. It's like, what the hell were these cards, bro? And then like, so you find out what card you are. Like, I think January 27th, I think that's the King of Clubs. You might be the master of knowledge in the mental realm. You might be the master of distinctions. The psychic card.
Bro, I need to do some shrooms to comprehend this type of shit, but it's too much. I don't know. Like I've been becoming more spiritual and more open to believe in certain things like this, because before I would just be narrow-minded, but then it's like everything got shut down. We had to kind of like analyze everything.
Right.
But now I'm just like
self-reflective.
Yeah.
Well, but then there's the Mayan signs too, which goes a whole other level, and then those correlate with the cards, and then that correlates with the numerology, and then that correlates with the freaking general astrology, and then you start to be able to paint like a full spectrum picture. And once
you know when you truly knew yourself, that's when you fucking Super Saiyan or fucking
let's go. Stupid.
The fours, y'all picking shit up.
Yeah, I mean metaphysically in a sense, yeah. But yeah, no, like that's definitely like that. People that I wrote off astrology a long ass time ago, I was like, man, what, a Leo? All right, yeah, okay, whatever. I think so deeply or whatever, right? And I didn't know why things affect me so much, or I would laugh and I would keep laughing at situations. And then like people around me, my homies and stuff like that, they would be like, and they stop laughing, and I'm still like just cracking up, like so, like whatever, like a joke or whatever. It's like something that was genuinely funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Like I would just like keep laughing, and I'm just like, why? How come you guys aren't experiencing this? And then later on, I realized it's because I have Moon in Scorpio. I feel things deeper. Like I feel things on a deeper level. It's a gift and a curse too. You know, it's not the greatest thing. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
When you think about someone, so this just happened recently. I was talking to Alex, and we're thinking about this dude that used to like hang out with us from high school. His name's Chewy. Shout out Chewy. We hadn't seen this dude in years, like at least I want to say 2-3 years. We literally thought about him yesterday or the other day, and then I don't know where Mills today. He's like, goddamn, all raspy. Oh, I saw this dude Chewy. He used to be our security guard. And then we're like, what the fuck? Like we literally thought about him yesterday, and then he brought him up today. Like he knows where he works and he sees him all the time and shit. And then you were talking about you think about a song. 5 minutes later, the song plays or something. Like, what is that? Like, what? Yeah,
that's what Brian and I were talking about. Like, as far as psychic ability, that's tuning into that which you can't perceive with your normal senses. You're tuning into your intuitional mind, your intuitional thoughts. You're going forward, progressing into the world, but you have access to some sort of otherworldly element. Yeah, there's some other. And certain people are more attuned to it. Certain people are less. And
is that like part
of clubs? People, yeah,
like the secret type thing. Like what? Can you,
I mean, yeah, you
can you manifest like future projections?
Yeah, like law of attraction type stuff. Yeah, I mean it's kind of cringe to me now. As far as but like, yeah, being psychically tapped in allows you to bring visions into reality a lot quicker than average. Yeah, you have more of a ability. If you're aware of it. Now you're aware of it. Congratulations. Okay.
So I had a moment like this because we just threw the show it's been like 5 days. It still feels like it's crazy. So
I also feel like that happens to me too. Is like kind of like when I actually try something, I feel like it happens pretty quick. Like I have a vision in my head and then like it goes exactly how I think the vision is like before I even do it. Like I'm like, it'll work like this. I feel like that's probably why I procrastinate on shit too, is because I feel like
it's gonna work. It just
I trust myself like that, I guess. But maybe I'm just tapped into shit like that.
Well, yeah, that's because you're the Six of Clubs. Six of Clubs. Well, until today, you weren't aware that you're psychic.
Yeah.
Well, that's
now
the
that
thing.
shit's gonna fuck with
me. Your job is to show people the way. That's kind of like because it's karmic. 6 is a number of karma.
And that's so funny because I be telling people like even at work, anywhere, they'll be like, "Oh, sorry, I'm in the way," and I'm like, "No, you are the way." Technically, I was the way the whole time.
You were showing the way. So 12 is perfection, right? Like if you think numerologically, and then 6, it would be like divided directly in half. So it's like halfway perfect. Crazy.
RowLow.
What up?
18 months ago, we did a podcast. I checked. January
18 months? Yeah, had
January 25th, 2021. So 18
yeah.
months ago, almost a year and a half. And last time we were talking about crypto. A lot of the podcast was, I think, about cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
It was when the beginning of the bull market in January, whenever I think Bitcoin was like at 20-something thousand, almost. Well, right now we're at 20,000. But
yeah,
how about your opinion just on Bitcoin in general? Like we had run to 60,000, and then now we came down to 20,000.
Yeah, we had a massive correction.
Massive correction, but overall bullish. Like long term, anything has changed? Anything you've learned over the years?
Yeah, no, like so yeah. It was a massive correction. I got hit pretty hard. I mean, we all did.
Yeah,
and it was one of those things where you know what, dude, that's the market. That's how it goes. We can't predict the market. We can only react appropriately. You know what I mean? So. You make the adjustments that you can make, and one of the things was like those high yield farming platforms that we were
coming out.
That we were talking about. Yeah, 300% gains, 300% this and that. But here's the thing: the value of the actual coin that you're investing in, if that gets cut in half or if that gets reduced 75%, you saw what happened with Luna. It's like, what is 300% of 10 cents? When originally it was like $2 to invest in it. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, you got 300% gains. Yeah, but you lost everything relative to the actual coin. So it was a huge lesson for a lot of people, that they were like, okay, maybe the yield farming did sound too good to be true. We tapped into being able to now go into new ways of I don't want to say exploiting, but new ways of sort of positively benefiting from the crypto space, right? With DeFi, with the Web3 platforms being more decentralized and focusing on more of the elements that were spread out, like being the liquidity provider, like we talked about last time. Now, the NFTs, since we last spoke,
the gamification of
they exploded. Since we last spoke, NFTs exploded. The game play to earn games exploded. Tokens, like Axie Infinity. Like dude, it's so amazing to watch that space, and even just like seeing artists vindicated for like their years and years of hard work that they put in, and all of a sudden now they have access to this like beautiful world of finances just to be able to continue to do what they always been doing.
You own NFTs right now?
Yeah, oh yeah, I make NFTs.
You made one of your music videos in NFT.
Yeah,
I remember.
Like what we were talking about earlier with the Nerd Thug thing.
Yeah.
So you're asking me, you're like, all right, so what is Nerd Thug? So, and I was like, no, let's save it for on the air. So what I wanted to do like not a social experiment, but I wanted to kind of do a different level of marketing that it's not going to catch on right away. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of brand myself, my brand. I wanted it to be around a hashtag, because I knew if you have your own hashtag, you're going to have a breadth of like an archive of
just your work, content, or who you are. Yeah.
That's all on the internet, all pointing to like one source, right? So if you hashtag NURD THUG Nerd Thug, and I didn't want to spell it traditionally, because
some people might just post it for
exactly, and you'll get mixed up with other stuff, right? And so I wanted to do that, and so what that ended up doing is it ended up helping in the crypto space too, because then now if you type in hashtag Nerd Thug, the first thing is the sacred artifacts that comes up, and that's all of the NFTs that I've created, and so it's like, oh, perfect. And I've already sold one, which is like the the logo spinning like the freaking. I have it on my back there, but like my wife made this, was why I'm geeked out about it. But that spinning logo, that 3D logo, sold like for like an Ethereum or something like that. And I was like, that's yes, sick. Dude, it was a cool experience, because the last time I sold album artwork, which is ironically the Nerd Thug album, the first album I released. I didn't release it on streaming platforms. I just released it on Bandcamp, but it was like my old ass album from a long time ago. I took the cover art just to test on the Xeno platform, which is a platform based on Polkadot, and they had a marketplace and an NFT marketplace. And I was like, all right, dude, these people are freaking just selling images. What the fuck? All right, let me, like a JPEG is just getting flipped. A PNG is getting flipped. A GIF is getting flipped. GIF. I don't know. How do you
GIF.
say?
I say GIF.
Who says GIF?
I say
probably
GIF.
Brian.
Brian definitely.
So
Brian's
yeah, I say
smart.
GIF too. I've always said GIF.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Maybe I said GIF, dude.
I don't even know, bro.
So I'm looking at all these people flipping these. And I'm like, no, there's no freaking way. So I did an experiment. This is back at the very beginning of NFTs popping off. And
yeah, it was like 2020, 2021. I remember.
Yeah, it was. I think it might have been right after.
Right after or on the podcast.
Yeah, I think it was.
You already dropped like the music video right after.
Yeah. I think So like, yeah, and so I put it out there, and on the Xeno platform, immediately it sold for 8 Ethereum. Like, and I was like, fuck. Yeah, dude, like just the artwork, the cover artwork. And I was like, dude, it just blew my mind how quick. I mean, I didn't sell anything until the 3D logo later on, but I was just pushing. I was just like, yo, dude, what the heck? And no one it was just, imagine like throwing a line, like if you're fishing, and the first thing you get a shark.
You got to start posting. It's kind of like, I think the future, I don't know about just my opinion, because like, we're all on TikTok and Instagram and all these apps. And Instagram, I feel like they're going to start offering NFTs. I think they just announced that Meta is going to start doing, they're testing to do NFTs on the Instagram app.
Doesn't Twitter do something with NFTs too?
Yeah, and Twitter, you can already put your profile picture if you own an NFT. I don't know if it's compatible with all of them, but like certain ones, you can put them as your profile picture. So that way you know that you own an NFT. Like, that's pretty dope. And Instagram, they just started their competition against like Patreon and OnlyFans. They started their subscription service. I don't know. Have you guys seen that on Instagram yet?
I've seen it on Snapchat.
2 other people I follow, they're like, oh, you can now get exclusive
subscribe
content
on Instagram.
Yeah. One of them was selling.
Snapchat has subscriptions now too.
So now Snapchat as well. And it's just the platforms that have the audience, instead of, they're offering more services to keep you on the same platform. Now you're on Instagram. You can be subscribed to people's exclusive content. You're going to be able to like buy and sell, maybe post NFTs there through the shop.
Yeah.
So I think that utility is gonna be big for like the whole space because
Absolutely.
that's mass adoption and of course Meta rebranding to Meta too.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I mean, I like it because I'm a VR geek, dude. I got an Oculus and like the Quest 2 or Meta Quest. I don't care, dude. But like it's dope, dude. And I just think that added towards a whole entire like the floodgates opened after that toward the metaverse, right? And that was the buzzword since we last spoke, and it just made things way more ubiquitous as far as crypto goes. The crazy part is since we last spoke, a whole entire war popped off too.
Oh, that's true.
Which was like, dude, that was gnarly. And so a lot of my attention shifted from just the crypto space in general. I kind of just went into more secure holdings and kind of just like played it like safer, in a way. And I mean, obviously lost my ass on a lot of the projects.
Yeah.
And since then started a holdings company, Jack of Diamonds Holdings Inc. And I was able to invest for other people too, which
holdings company as in like you have the coins and people purchase and they get an AP or like
no. So like we'll take an investment and then we'll disperse it amongst various different projects, and and so we'll actually invest for like kind of like at the very end of the podcast. If you tap into the last podcast when I was like, this is eventually something that I want to go ahead and do. Is I did it actually.
Oh, that's sick.
And I started the holdings company, and then with my buddy, soul brother in Austin, Texas, and we just we started the company, secured funds for people, and really just like invested in a lot of different platforms. The crazy part is it happened right at the point where a lot of the things that we're invested in took multiple years. It was like, okay, you're going to invest in this. Okay, cool. But it's going to take 96 weeks to, solidify. And I was like, oh, snap. And, like obviously the contracts that we gave people were like for a year, but it's like, man, just hold on because it's going to be a lot better if you wait for the long term. And so fortunately, everybody that, I've invested in is like, yeah, we're in it for the long haul. So
do you still take new investors or you
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because now, because the lessons that we've learned, through this whole entire process, we are able to take those and add it to the volume of information that we already had previously.
Plus, you think it's because we're 2 years away from the next halving, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So like right now, it would be a good time. Not financial advice. But
not financial advice. Yeah.
Right now would be the time to start stacking, bro. Because I wasn't. So I was around cryptocurrency 2017, but that's when I was barely learning it. I didn't have like money in the game. Then I saw everything pop off, and then that was my first experience of going through kind of like a bull run, and then now corrections. But I have a lot of money staked still on Ethereum and like some other money and other exchanges. But I haven't really because I know everything's been down and I'm thinking long term. So I'm not even. I used to be more daily, and I think it was during the times where there was nothing going on. The world was kind of shut down, so you're forced to always be on your phone, kind of looking at things. Now that you're getting busy, I feel like I'm not keeping up with the updates as much. I still kind of check once in a while. I have it actually on the computer when I'm editing. I have a little ticker that tells the prices of my top 5 coins or whatever. So I always know the price. I just haven't kept up as much as I wanted to. But I'm thinking long term. I'm just gonna right now would be a good time to go.
Oh, absolutely. And since then, I built a website called cryptolo.com. So I spin off on my name. So CRYPTOWLOW.com.
I love the branding. That's dope.
I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
No, and then his colors are hard. They are from futuristic colors.
Right. That little vaporwave, synthwave vibe.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. So cryptolo.com is a good way to stay up to date too, though, because I have a ticker constantly going at the bottom, and every day it's updated on automation of the latest news of what's going on in the space, in the gaming space.
Kind of like the website that you used to tell me about.
Yeah, exactly. Like Crypto Panic. Yeah. So, dude, it's an aggregator. I created an aggregator, but also as a promotional tool, and eventually as an opportunity for other people to, because once the traffic increases, because it's already hitting pretty good, but once it increases, ad space, and to be able to launch even local artists, NFT projects, have a space for for musicians that are tapped into Web 3.0 and push them.
Are you
and then
making
also my
content
own
around
stuff.
that?
Yeah,
You
yeah. And
I'm making content.
Yeah, I have my own. I have the link to the sacred artifacts on cryptolo.com.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like this fusion sort of thing that's happening. But what I was saying earlier is like I went to a little bit more of a conservative role in the crypto space where, you know, like just 10% APY with USDT or BUSD on the Binance side. Like basically stable coins.
Yeah.
Messing with a lot of stable coins and figuring out how and fortunately I got out of Luna at like $80 or something like that before,
shit.
like right before
Yeah.
I had an intuitional flash with Luna, and I was like, you know what? Let me just get out. I just want to get out. For some reason, I got out of Luna, and then it literally like a week later, it just went all the way down to nothing. So basically, all that being said, is it pointed more towards having a conservative perspective on crypto at the moment is a good thing, at least for me, because I then shifted the focus on AI, like artificial intelligence, and like I started going deep into like OSINT. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
No, what is that?
So OSINT is open source intelligence. And so essentially, like the CIA, the FBI, the different, 3-letter organizations, they rely on various different tools for intelligence to, reconnaissance for all sorts of different purposes, for terrorism, for terrorism, for enacting terrorism upon nations, the counterterrorism, like all these different tools, right? So they're using these different tools, but now because of the internet, because of the spread of how many users are on it, and because of things like the deep web, the dark net, whatever you want to call it, and things like social networks like Twitter, like we were talking about earlier, TikTok, Snapchat, all these social networks that are open and unbridled internet, kind of like Starlink, right? Where it's sort of like, dude, it just goes, it's just there. You have internet where it's not as controlled as before, where because of those things, now we have access to more intelligence tools than we ever did before. And there's a branch of the internet called open source intelligence, OSINT. And right when that war popped off with the Ukraine, I was like, I need to know everything that's actually going on, boots on the ground, because soldiers were posting on their TikTok, soldiers were posting on their Twitter, and then we were able to triangulate locations. And then there's aggregators of that sort that are putting all the information together in an easily consumable way and creating maps. And like we ended up knowing stuff before news organizations.
Yeah.
And like on an epistemological or like an ontological foundation, I would say that the current zeitgeist and the current media is wrought with corruption. So I don't trust it whatsoever. Right.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to figure out a way to pull my own information from
just a direct source,
as possible, as close to direct source as possible.
So it's like another, like it's the next level of kind of Twitter, because like as soon as something is trending, something is going on, like Twitter's where I go because people are gonna be talking about it. Like you're just refreshing the feed and things are popping off there. But if you're going to like, because Twitter's more like I guess like a forum where people gather their information, but you're literally searching through the information that's being uploaded to the internet. Is that kind of what I'm getting? Just
yeah. You're using basically it's like a web crawling the entire internet, the dark net, the surface internet.
Posted, boom.
Yeah, and then you're pulling information and you're aggregating it to the point where you're like, okay, this is what's actually going on. Is this corroborated on this source? Is this corroborated on this source? Okay, yes, that's actually what's going on. Then the media comes and reports and downplays it or says some weird stuff, and that way or amplifies it, and you're like, nope, I know what's really going on. F you. I'm not listening to you. I'm not vibing with anything you have to say.
Yeah.
And that's what the virus is. That's what,
whatever's
everything.
Been going on. It's just at the end of the day, they're companies made to make money.
Right. Yeah.
So they need to get those like extreme fear or whatever their site is.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they do something just to get the reaction out of the public. And then the public gets outraged from the article, even the way they phrase or some of the images that they use, like on the tweets and shit. It's all a game, bro.
Twitter just be showing you real shit, like as it's happening. Like
I remember during like the riots in 2020 and all that, like Twitter was the place where like people just be posting videos, like
they call the soldiers now, they're calling them TikTok soldiers, because they're out there like literally murking fools and then they're doing a dance, like, and it's just like,
way.
what? This is crazy, dude. Like,
I never seen
it's nuts, dude. It's a whole entire other world. and I'm like, dude, I mean, this is what the world's come to.
To be honest,
But-
I haven't kept up with the
Like,
war
all
or
my TikToks
anything
is-
in months,
All
bro.
my TikToks is dogs.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like all the shit that's just been feeding us the last 2 years.
Right.
I just want to focus on working and doing my own shit. And I try to disconnect from everything. I know it's
Yeah.
not right sometimes, but I fuck it.
No, that is right. Like, because what value are you going to be in the world and, like be the change, right? Like how are you going to put what you want out into the world if you're consuming all of this content constantly? You're just consuming everything and just totally focusing. So that was one of the main, that was the impetus for me to actually go in and use OSINT was, okay, really quickly get the gist of what's actually going on. That way the next week or 2 weeks of bullshit media that comes out or whatever, I can completely ignore it because I know what actually is going on. It was time saving for me, like able to focus on music a lot more, able to tap in with auditions and just like really just push.
How's your calendar look like? Do you have like, how do you deal with like, because, okay, so you were on, I don't think the American Horror Story,
Yeah,
that was after the podcast too.
Yeah, well, I think it was. Yeah.
So how was that? How was that experience?
Dude, that was crazy.
You were
man.
like the
It's
DJ in that
surreal.
scene,
Yeah,
right?
I know, right? Like,
So how do you get that?
and
gig?
I can't even book a DJ gig, man. I'm on a DJ on TV. Nah, I was messing.
I know what the fuck.
No, I'm messing, dude. So like, yeah, it was a dope experience because you always want to. They say follow the dreams of thy youth, right? And like when I was younger, being a drama kid, like some weird, cringe. I'm not even gonna speak on it. Stuff happened with the football team in our high school, and so everybody kind of like turned towards us, for refuge, and we were just cracking jokes in front of the library and doing improv and doing like last line jump and freeze and just making everybody laugh and stuff. And so, like we at that. It was then I knew. No, I was like looking at everybody, like people, like seeing their reactions and stuff, and I was like, yeah, this feels way better than anything. So I knew I always wanted to do something theatrical, cinematically, and be like, in a performance role, acting, that kind of thing. I always knew that, and so I've pursued it constantly. And fortunately, back in the day, I booked a Ford commercial, and everything kind of spanned, out of that. But actually, I was in a movie. It was a movie called Dust Up, and it was filmed by Ward Roberts, and that was like kind of the real start because it was all serendipitous how it happened. And we won't talk about that too much because you asked about American Horror Stories, but the experience there was surreal because you're treated really super well, obviously, like you get a trailer, you get like catering, you get like, get walked because you're a co-star. So you get walked to the front of the line because you need to be back on set. So obviously there's a purpose for it. They're not just walking you for no reason.
Yeah.
But like, it's just a cool experience. You're like when the camera's on you, and then that particular episode was directed by Max Winkler, who is, I don't know if you know the Fonz, Arthur Fonzarelli from Happy Days. Yeah. Hey, it's the Fonz. Hey,
Henry Winkler.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So his biological son, his actual son, was the director of this particular episode.
Tight.
So I'm dealing with like this dude who's like his dad's goated, and like he's actually done a lot of work too, amazing stuff. And I was like, oh shit. There's a moment where he's like, okay, run through the lines real quick, and I was like, and I just had to hit the lines, you know what I mean? Go through all the lines real quick, rapid fire, and you start to see, you get more of a respect for set, for the different people on set, because it's humbling in a way because, as an actor, you're kind of just like, I'm the fucking actor, man. Like, nah, dude, you're just the actor, like, because there's the director of photography, and this dude is like pressing buttons on this camera and like freaking manipulating this giant rotary system and like moving this way. And he's like, no, actually, let's go ahead and move it. Let's put that over here. Get the lighting this way. And it's like, dude, all of a sudden you realize this guy's in charge. The director of photography has his moments where he's freaking fully in charge. And the director's kind of sitting back and like respecting everyone and getting their opinions. And if he has to make a call, he'll make a call, but it's a team effort, big time. Like I can't shout out the production side of what people do enough.
Where you shoot it at?
It was in Hollywood. It was in
This fool would
LA.
sit through all the whole movie credits just to pay respects to the people
Yeah,
that work
I
there.
do that.
Straight
But
up.
I mean, like
Straight
honestly,
up. Yeah,
honestly, like
Shout out to Grip
Like-
7 on ladder
like,
2.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
it's crazy.
Yeah, like second assistant AD. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like it's not the fourth. He's the second.
A lot
But
of-
like,
yeah.
no, yeah. So like, I remember one time I was on set and it was a commercial shoot, and I think it was the AT&T commercial with Dan Finnerty, the guy that goes, "Fucking need you more than ever" in Wedding
Old School.
yeah,
Yeah.
Old School, yeah, dude. So I was fortunate enough to be in a commercial with him, and I think the assistant AD or the first assistant AD or second assistant, I don't remember which director, but it was one of the directors. Was like, we were all tired, and he was like, "Yeah, go, why don't you go take a nap?" And I was like, I'm good." He's like, "Well, I got to share the road with you, so go take a nap." And I was like, "Damn, that hit me pretty hard." Like, like maybe, like they care, you know what I mean? And it's yeah, the industry's wrought with weird stuff that goes on, but I've never experienced any of it. I've just been surrounded by a bunch of dope people that really put in that effort and put in that work.
How long was the shoot for? And how long were you on screen? And how long was the shoot?
It was real quick. I was on screen real quick, super quick. But it was the first time I actually had a speaking role on a show where it's like, oh yeah, that's like an achievement, like achievement unlocked, Xbox achievement unlocked. But like the role or the shoot time, it was basically all day. You're there all day just for that small little window.
That's
you got to start early, get there with get the trailer, hair and makeup, and you go, and then you go to like this room in the house that was set up for just us to chill on standby. And then the first time, right when I got there, one of the other actors was just passed out on the floor. Like basically he'd been putting in mad amount of effort. He's just like that's how I met him, was him just on the floor, like passed out. It was funny, but yeah, it was. So you're there pretty much all day for like 30 seconds of airtime,
So how's the experience of acting compared to making music or performing? Like, what do you enjoy more?
So that's a good question, and some of the people have asked me. There's nothing like the feeling of performing on stage with your own content and a bunch of people vibing to it.
Yes.
Nothing like it. You could relate.
Yes.
And like I remember being at the date shed, and the date shed was packed, and like my song's playing, and I'm on the mic, and it's just
a drug.
Yeah, and just people are just singing to your own song, and it's just like everybody's like, "Yo!" I won't forget those types of feelings. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, "Oh, dude, it's just you can't." Because it's okay. Go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay, because it's your own energy that you're putting out there. There's nothing that compares to that feeling, creatively. On the other side, participating in a story, telling a story, and being accepted and acknowledged for that story that you're telling, and then being able to inspire is also a great feeling. But I would say like if like music is like 100%, acting is like 99%.
Yeah, the way I say I describe it is like the music is like it's 100% me. That's like it's me as a person. I get to say things that I don't get to tell people otherwise. But because I'd done acting class before, and like that was my first thing that people knew me for, even before music, was I wanted to do videos and like, I would write screenplays, or I would try to, I would never see things through. But like the acting gives me a chance to like tap into even more like sides of my personality that are there. But like if say I play a character, I can even like go further into that and bring that out.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I like that shit too. But music, like performing for people, like it's just it's like its own drug. It's addicting. There's times where I'll get depressed if I don't perform for a while after the performance.
Oh yeah, the after show blues.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a thing. I mean, there's after acting blues or something like that, because you're working and then you're not.
Yeah,
I feel like there's. I mean, I don't know. I don't have experience in it, but the way I see it from an outsider's perspective is like you're in control of your own music, you're in control of your own show, of the way you perform, the lyrics, everything. Over here, you might be acting for like a 10-hour role, whatever, and then 2 minutes of screen time might make the final cut. You're not in control,
right? Yeah, you're not.
So
in control.
I feel like music will be cooler because you control everything. You control your 15, 20 minute set, whatever it's gonna be.
I feel like when you're the king, like when you're real good at music, like that's the thing too. Like movie stars are big, but when you're the king of music, you're the fucking like king. If like say like if Tom Cruise and Michael Jackson walked into the same building,
Michael Jackson, bro.
yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Beyonce,
Like that's why I'm saying
Yeah.
like biggest movie star versus biggest music star. The music star is taking everything, bro.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the thing. As far as
What was that ranking? Like Kid Rock or something in the 90s was like it's a rock star, then it was like rock star, then movie star, then like NBA player, and then it was like a tier list. But it
There
was
was a
rock
tier.
star was always top.
always at the
But,
top.
yes,
Yeah, that's
sports
dope.
is up there too.
That's facts. Yeah, no, like so actors, they.
Oh no, sorry. So the quote was it was Michael Jordan and then rock star.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you're saying Michael Jordan was like whatever the toppest.
I could
level
see
was.
that though.
That
Like-
was in the 90s. You
Like
know?
He's
Miss
an eight of diamonds.
Miss Thompson that she worked at. She was a teacher at Indio High School. She said when she went to Egypt, people came up to her and was like, "America, Shaquille O'Neal."
Yeah,
Like they knew Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah,
O'Neal. Yeah,
yeah.
In France, it was damn. What happened? I think one of the guy who was trying to sell us something. He was like he heard us speaking English, and he it was right by the Eiffel Tower, and he had like little squishy toys for the kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he was like Lady Gaga, Michael Jackson, Lady Gaga. Like I was like what the fuck, dude?
Sounds like
Because the guy didn't speak English, right? And he was also, I'm sure, he also immigrated to
Los
France
primos.
too, I'm sure. But yeah, it was funny.
Do you speak French too?
Nah. Well, sacre bleu. Nah, oui, vous parlez-vous français? Nah, tapping into different languages and stuff.
What's the next? Okay, so let's talk about the music now because you brought up like the performances and like making music. So you have a show coming out and it's an album release party. coming up.
Yes,
So
yeah. Let's talk about that. Like so Dead Maid and I have been working on an album for like a super long time. It was like probably like a year. We put together different tracks, maybe a little bit more than that, and we were ready to release it. And super underground. The sound is like there's tracks that are like super like mixed super clean. There's tracks that are just like super rough and get the underground feel. And it came out really dope. I'm really happy with it. And it's called Hyper Squad, and it's our last album, joint album that we did together was called Lava Squad.
Yeah.
So this one is called Hyper Squad, and it's more like the vibe is more like hyper pop, hyper trap, real futuristic vibes. You're gonna hear it. You'll tap into it once you hear the actual sound. It's very unique. It's something that hasn't really been dropped out here before, or just in general, I think. And it's very progressive. And it drops on the 13th, and then we're doing a party. It'll be my birthday party. My birthday's on the 15th, but we're gonna celebrate on the 13th for that event. And it's gonna be sick. We got a bunch of local talent. I was looking into the different talent. Mills will be there. Hopefully, if you want to turn up, you're more than welcome to. It's a private event, but tickets are available, and just go on RowLow.
All ages, or what's the age limit?
18 and up, yeah. RowLow.eventbrite.com.
Okay.
Yeah, RowLow.
Is that the source in Palm Desert?
Yeah, it's at Source in Palm Desert. Very good. Thank you for that. And Visionary Promotions, gracious enough to allow us to use a space. And Source, it's Source PD, Source Palm Desert, and it's on Joni Drive. So if you go to Alco Bar, if you go to Cook Street, you'll see Alco Bar. You just drive around the corner, and you'll see cars and you hear music and stuff.
Okay, for sure. Now I think we're gonna tap in. I've never seen you perform live, so that's I've always wanted to.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Yeah,
And I met your videographer,
Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
We went to with Flat Black. We went to Flat Black. It was like I guess it was a videography or film or digital marketing. I don't know what it was.
Oh,
it
yeah,
was,
yeah. So
it was
like
a
a workshop.
conference. Yeah, workshop. A video workshop, and we got to he brought his red camera, and like he was giving us a presentation with the projector. There was like other kids and some videographers from like Desert Hot Springs, photographers. It was cool, like because I don't think I've ever been part of something like that. And we ended up going and meeting some cool people, and then we ended up working with one of the photographers at a wedding like that was there. And then Zach, he gave me a gig out of town too. He for Juneteenth. He had a shoot in Pomona, and he's like, "Hey, I can't cover it because I actually have to shoot something." So I ended up driving to Pomona, and then I did a whole or Pasadena. I'm sorry, Pasadena.
That's dope.
And I did a whole video for him and stuff. And Palm finally got to meet him, and I told him about you because I was like, I seen all those videos you did in the desert and all that shit because those videos were dope. And
yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, no, Zach is one of the first people I met in the United States. Like,
oh,
so
really?
yeah, when we played t-ball together, so we've known each other since we were 5 years old. Like, the oldest friend
Here in the valley or what?
Up in Yucca Valley.
Oh, nice.
So that's where we're both from. I'm originally from Austria, Vienna, but I was raised in Yucca Valley, Joshua Tree area. People know Joshua Tree. They don't really know Yucca Valley. Although the Amber Heard
been growing,
the Amber Heard trial probably put Yucca Valley on blast because they were like, and state for the record, state where you're from, where you live. She's like, I live in Yucca Valley, California. I was like, oh no,
she
dude.
said that. That's
yeah.
crazy.
She's got a spot in Yucca Valley, dude. I was like,
well, it makes sense. All the crackheads are
Yucca Valley. The hottest spot in Southern Cali.
So I had like a vision. I went my Coachella weekend 2 at Coachella for the show that I just threw because I was tapping into the homie. He's like, hey, I don't want to say who or whatever, but I ended up doing shrooms at Coachella. And I fasted the whole day. It was my first time doing shrooms at a festival. And then that Friday, I was watching Brockhampton. No, Friday or Saturday. I don't remember, but just watching all these rappers on stage, I was like, fuck, like we needed something like this in the Valley, like something that just fucking, it just looks sick. Like you can almost throw in different artists, and I know with visuals and like an energy that you feel from that crowd, I was like, okay, I vibe with shit like this. And then throughout the weekend, I was just watching another artist, and I watch a rock band, and I'm like, damn, they're fucking going crazy. It was, damn, I forgot the rock band's name.
Where? Coachella?
Coachella.
Turnstile?
And they're watching. I walked into. I was actually in the restroom. We were gonna go to like the Doolab. It was like a
Doolab.
I don't know. It was like 6-7 p.m. And I was in the restrooms next to one of the stages, the Gobi or the Mojave. And then I just hear a guitar riff like start, and then the crowd starts cheering. I'm like, what the fuck's playing next door? So I ended up just gravitating towards the music, and then I got to see like their last 15 minutes. And like mosh pit, I got into a mosh pit, like this band I never heard of. It was just crazy. And all those experiences, I was just thinking like, I want to make a show. The way I look at it, like for artists to blow up from the research I've done is that one, you got to be posting a lot, like we're saying, just
constantly
hashtags or just constantly posting. But also like if you make good quality content and you're constant, that's when you increase your chances. You know, you're still the audience and the algorithm still has a say, but I know if you put consistent quality content, things happen. So what my thing with the show was like, I got to have a bunch of cameras. I got to have videographers. I got to have people taking pictures. Like it has to be like a content farm type of thing. And then for the artists, they're doing their 20-minute set. We recorded everything because out of that 20-minute set, they can make like 50, 100 reels or 100 TikToks if they wanted to, like different parts. So that was my vision behind it. And then it was like manifesting on the podcast. I was at a setting with one guy. We ended up watching Nathaniel Cano. He does like it's called Corridos Tumbados. It's kind of like trap in Spanish. It's kind of
like corridos,
but like
it's crazy.
It's for
dude.
people that smoke weed and shit.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's a new sound.
It's not on that gangster shit.
No,
I was telling him, I don't know Spanish, but that shit's just
it's like I'll show you some songs. So it's like gangster shit, but they're mostly talking about weed and partying. Same shit that rappers talk about. So, but in Spanish, it's a new genre. And like watching that live, boom, it opened my mind. I was like, what the fuck? This shit sounds crazy with the bass and everything. So all that was kind of manifesting. And then I started having podcasts. And then some of those artists were coming in to perform after the podcast the last couple of months. Now that I gotta do something. And I wanted to throw something big in October, November. But somehow we ended up doing it right now. And I was like,
so fuck it, dude. That's dope. Yeah, I was looking at some of the clips online. I was like, dude, this is... I'm surprised JR's not announcing like that's a slobber knocker straight WWE shit, dude. I was like, yeah, this is exactly what we need out here, man. Is like
I was so nervous.
Hey, bro, did the lights make you more nervous?
I mean, I'm nervous before every show.
Good,
but
you have to be.
But it's like this one was just like I didn't know. Like I don't ever really go in with the game plan. I literally came up with my set list like 2 days before. Remember?
Well, you already have years of preparation.
Yeah,
you could pull back from all kinds of, So that's the real work is the preparatory work.
Yeah, I think it was just the fact that there was gonna be a lot more people like this. To me, this felt like everything that was like all that culmination of like everything that I was speaking since before I even got into the cipher came into this moment, because I feel like this moment is just like it inspired me like crazy, and it's gonna be like the one that opens the doors for like the possibility of like like no like I say it with all respect because like I love Giselle Wu and all them, but like I feel like rappers, we don't really get the respect out here like that.
True.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that. Yeah. And I feel like it would be sick to get, I always tell people, because like this last Coachella was the first time I was able to actually technically perform at Coachella.
Yeah.
Like it was like a, you know, I didn't perform in the capacity that I would have wanted to, where it's like, yo, just be on stage and just rip shit. But at the very least, I got invited. Thanks to your podcast, they reached out to me and they were like, yo, you know, since we see that you know about crypto and like,
oh shit, that's crazy.
and NFTs and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it was, that's, so I got to give you thanks about that, because Coachella reached out to me and they were like, yo, we need you to host nighttime fun in the tent. The Scene Creative, basically the Coachella Art Studios reached out, and we did nighttime fun in the tent, which is NFT, if you really think about it, right? Like the acronym for it. And nighttime fun in the tent basically was, the theme was the metaverse for this year, for the craft tent. And we ended up putting on an NFT show and like displaying artists' NFTs. And I was able to like DJ play music while I was hosting and like interacting with the crowd. And
that's sick.
It wasn't that serious. It was real fun, real light, but we kept it moving. We had people pop out, and
it was a door open.
It was a blast, bro. But just it was surreal because like being backstage, like while Lil Baby's like fucking like just like doing his thing, and like or like Meg Thee Stallion's going on, and I'm getting like carted on a cart, and the whole entire back behind Coachella. I was like,
the artist pass.
I'm working now. Yeah, I'm working.
That's
being an artist camping, you know, and stuff like that. I was like, okay, dude, this is, because now it's like we're part of the show. You know what I mean? Like we're the real deal now. Like
I had an artist pass weekend too as well.
And
I was able to ride the
and
golf
I do
carts.
get the stigma.
It's cool.
Like I know that there's a lot of like rappers out here that do like the gang shit and like they'll attract that crowd, but there's a lot of us that don't do that. Like if that's what venues are afraid of, like because
that's what venues ultimately are afraid of, fights
fact,
and
I know for a fact
rap that has the
connotation.
Stigma.
Yeah,
I know for a fact I will work hard to make sure people show up. At least so that place will make money. Because we did a performance for my birthday one time in a DHS, little small bar. And remember, we had it packed. Like they made all kinds of money that day.
People showed up.
They had one bartender that day, and I wish they would have had like 2 or 3.
Yeah,
like
that's dope.
But I'm saying like I don't rap about shit like that. Like that's gonna make people fight.
I'm over here. Your face in the pavement.
Nah, your shit's hard, bro.
But there's a difference between making hype music.
Yeah,
and
making,
you know,
like I'll murk you in the face, you know, pull out the glick.
Yeah,
and there's a space,
videos,
and there's a space for the gangster stuff too. Like that shit. Just because they're not gonna get venues, they're not gonna be hurt by that.
No,
like
that's
they have such
YG,
a strong, they have such good connections. Like they're always gonna be able to make waves.
Yeah, and people when they're being real, they're like, dude, this is where I came from. I came from this shit, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm when I rep Nerd Thug or whatever it is, I'm being real, bro. I'm straight up. I played StarCraft. I built computers, bro. Like I'm straight up like, but then at the same time, I listen a lot. I listen to like Tupac and like Nipsey, and like I really know about, you know, like that thug shit. You know what I mean? Like so like
and plus
like I deeply connect with both cultures. You know, like
yes,
you know what I mean. So
same.
So when people are true to themselves, say they're just from the streets, say they had to catch bodies, or say they had to like to survive, you know, like whatever they had to do. If that's
what they did,
if that's their truth,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, accept it, and then like let's move on.
Yeah, like me, like I grew up like I love like this is a Star Wars tattoo. Like I love like my favorite movie's E.T. Like I love shit like that. I've always been like that. But I've had a foot in that because I have close friends. I have friends that have killed people. Like I grew up in a house.
Who? Nah.
Which friends?
It's supposed to dry stitch and shit.
No, I would never. And I
allegedly,
allegedly. But I grew up in a house where like people would sell drugs and shit like out of the house. Like so I know like that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And. What are we talking about?
The feds are tuning in right now. They're going through Mills' friends list right now.
I was talking. It's all movie characters that I'm talking about.
You have a ghostwriter, bro. Like Moneybag Yo. How he was on a podcast and he was like, so yeah, man. But he's like, nah, man. I don't write my own shit. He's like, I got a ghostwriters. Obviously, this fool writes his own shit, but like, bro, he's playing it smart.
Yeah. Oh,
Wait, no, it wasn't Moneybagg Yo. Who was it? I'm trying to think of who.
We're just talking about the authenticity, though.
Yeah,
like
somebody
like
else.
how you can keep your foot in both realms.
Yeah.
And still be like, it's just all you could combine it basically.
Yeah. It's a New York cat. I'm trying to think of who's a big cat coming out of New York right now.
Oh, okay. Now I know. It's because we were talking about like how like I don't attract that crowd, or like, so not all of us rap about that stuff. Like I could talk about that stuff, but like, you know, that's not the crowd I bring out. I bring out the people that in both that are good people.
100%. Yeah. We got to tap in. Like Zach, dude. When we do videos and stuff, like we always talk about like where the industry is going and stuff, and like dude, shouts out Zach, because that's dope that you are actually able to work with them and stuff like that, because man, dude, like circulation media is really pushing, is really like, you know, getting stuff in, and like I'm proud of where he's come, where he's at right now.
Yeah, he does good work. I saw a lot of his videos.
The workshop stuff is dope too, and I'll be out Flat Black on the 6th, doing an art show. I don't know how soon this podcast will go out, but like it'll be on the 6th. It'll be I'll be dropping some sounds. I'll be DJing, but it's a local art show. It's called Summertime.
Is that Palm Springs one?
Summertime art show. No, it's Flat Black.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I think in September I'll do a crypto workshop over there too, at Flat Black.
Because you usually travel between Austria and here. Are you going to be here for a while?
Yeah, I think this time I'm just gonna. I think I'm gonna chill out this time, because the restrictions are starting to get. They're weird. It's weird with COVID. Like, you must wear the FFP2 mask, and it's just like it's just a specific mask that you have to wear, and it's just like, dude, like, come on, dude, like let's loosen it up a bit. But they don't know that. It's just the rigidity is so present, you know, and I'll feel it, you know, just like in my own life, just because it's where I can't come from, you know, being rigid with, you know, like, you know, I'm in the creative process. Like I'll never stop creating, you know, I'm like super rigid on that. Like something will be happening or whatever, where it's like, oh yeah, no, let's go. It's like, not get to the studio.
How do you balance everything? How do you balance? Because, you know, there's a saying, like, some people want you to kind of put you in a box where you should only be doing this. Be like, oh, why are you doing all these different things? Like, if you focus on one, you probably grow it bigger, or you kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you balance that?
Yeah, jump the paradigm, and then like so don't balance. You know what I mean? So, you know, the balancing act is basically realizing that everybody's out on a tightrope walking. And some people are way the fuck out there. And, you know, just imagine the world as a series of a bunch of people walking on different tightropes, different sizes. Everybody's at a different level. Everybody's at a different, you know,
pathway.
Yeah, different path, and respecting everyone's path. So I don't balance. I stay fully present and aware in each moment. You know what I mean? Like, okay, this is what I'm going to do right now.
You're going hard in whatever.
The only thing that we can do is be in the moment. You know, we can't be anywhere else other than a lot of, like, my whole shtick is, oh, I'm from the future, you know, like all that shit, like, because, you know, like being all into nerd stuff and being like, oh yeah, dude, I'm in the future, the cyberpunk, yeah, the next wave, the synth wave, the freaking future shit, yeah, and yeah, that's cool, but like it doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. It's always only the present that exists. You know, like in Kung Fu Panda, what does he say? Yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, but right now is a gift. That's why they call it the present. You know, the turtle.
Yeah,
dude, that's the facts, bro. That's just 100% true.
And tattoo that shit on my forehead.
Yeah, just on your face, bro. Like, yeah, man. Like, and so balancing it all it's not really balancing, because, you know, I love my family like more than anything, dude. Like, you know, my wife, my kids, like, it's just like the best feeling, you know, like when you're all together, and then being able to bring them like at Coachella, like, dude, my whole family's with me on the Do-Lab stage. We're just all vibing out. Like, they're getting experience, you know, like they got earplugs in and stuff, but they're getting the experience. Like, the kids are getting to experience what it's like, and just getting a taste. You know, obviously people aren't like blazing and, you know, doing stuff around the kids. They kind of like respect it and stuff. And everywhere we went, everybody was like, what? They see a whole family there, you know? And so, like, just taking my family on the journey with me is like definitely definitely. I guess that's a way to balance it. Is
Involving them.
involving my family on everything I do, and then my extended family, because there's close people that I consider family too.
Because I've been wanting to see you live for a long time. Because
thanks, man.
ever since the podcast, and I've been seeing you doing work, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Talk about that though, real quick. The show.
Oh, we talked about it too.
Yeah, we talked about it.
I went to the restaurant.
Hey, you talk about it.
Yeah, talk about it.
Nah, so it'll be my birthday party show, and like come through. And then the Hyper Squad album release. This album's gonna exist forever, and shouts out Deadmain.
Yeah,
we really worked super hard on this album.
That guy.
And dude, good. All his solid vibes. Fucking sick ass motherfucker, dude. Like he's dope as shit.
Yeah, that is dope.
Yeah, tap in. And yeah, it's gonna be valid.
Yeah, hell yeah. We'll definitely be there if you guys listening. The 13th at the Source, Palm Desert. It's gonna be a bunch of local artists, and especially his birthday party.
Nerd Thug. Hashtag Nerd Thug.
Hashtag Nerd Thug.
Let's go.
And you
Scan
are
it.
Get that
Scan it, bro. Scan it.
Scan this one right now.
Hey, it'll probably work too. It'll probably work.
It probably will.
That's hard.
Scan this, dude.
That's pretty sick.
And then I'll put a link to this podcast on the link tree, dude.
Damn,
that's sick.
That'd be
But
hard.
you gotta watch the podcast in order to scan it.
That is sick.
But all scanning it goes back to the beginning of the podcast.
Hey, time loop.
Podcastception.
Straight loop.
It's like Looper.
thanks
Like
for watching
that's such a
that.
badass movie. Oh man.